A man in a small village watched his son drift through life without a single responsibility. To the boy, the days seemed endless, and he let them slip through his fingers without a second thought. He spent his mornings wandering the streets and his afternoons sitting idle. He wasn't necessarily unhappy, he was simply blind to the fact that every hour he spent doing nothing was a resource he could never recover. Realizing that lectures weren't working, the father decided to use a physical object to illustrate an invisible problem. He handed the boy an old pocket watch and told him to take it to the market. The goal was simple: find out exactly what the people there thought the object was worth. Before the boy could understand the value of his own life, he needed to see how the world assigns value to the things we can touch and trade. The boy spent the day showing the watch to various merchants, from spice traders to rugged blacksmiths, asking each for a price. This scatter plot shows no consensus. One man offered 500 rupees, another 800, and a third 1,000. This highlights a basic rule: the watch has no fixed value. Its worth depends entirely on the buyer's desire in that moment. The boy returned home, confident he had completed the task with a list of prices. He thought he had finally pinned down the value of the watch, but the father just told him to put the watch away. The exercise showed that the price of an object is often arbitrary, shifting based on the whims and needs of the market. The following morning, the father asked his son to retrieve the watch from the cupboard again, but this time he changed the question. He told the boy to return to the market, but instead of asking for the price of the watch, he was to ask for the price of the time inside it. When the boy asked this new question, the reaction was immediate and harsh. The same merchants who had offered him hundreds of rupees the day before now laughed at him, told him to go away, or ignored him entirely. The merchants couldn't answer because time isn't a commodity that can be weighed or sold across a counter. You can't put a price tag on a second because you can't hand it to someone else in exchange for cash. Standard market metrics completely fail us here. While we can easily price the metal and glass of the watch, we have no way to quantify the reality it measures. Finally, the boy met an old watchmaker. Unlike the other merchants, the old man didn't laugh. He understood that the boy wasn't just asking about money, but about the true nature of the resource itself. This diagram illustrates the watchmaker's point. On the left, time is a resource in constant depletion. On the right, money accumulates indefinitely. There is no exchange rate here. You could have millions, but cannot spend a single rupee to buy back even one past second. The only advantage to this system is choice. While you cannot stop the clock from ticking down, you have total control over what you do with the time you have left. Time is a non-renewable asset. Because it cannot be repurchased or stored, its value is essentially infinite compared to any amount of money. The boy realized that while he had been worried about the price of a metal watch, he had been ignoring the far more expensive asset he was wasting every day just by standing still. This distribution model shows a shared mathematical baseline. Every person receives the exact same 24-hour deposit daily. While financial inequality is constant, time is where every human starts on level ground. The only difference between achievement and idleness is how those identical hours are allocated. The boy returned home, but he didn't go back to his old routine. He began to work, understanding that his days were a limited resource that required his attention. He learned that time is free, but it is also priceless. You can spend it, but you can never own it, and once it's gone, the market is closed. The shift in the boy's life shows that while everyone is given the same 24 hours, the way those hours are used creates the only meaningful difference between a wasted year and a productive one.